Hey, this is Chuck, and you are listening to Fans with Bands, the podcast where we talk to the fans and the bands they dig about life, music, and whatever the hell else we want to talk about. Today on Fans with Bands, we're talking to Moon Orchids. Check it out. Hey, this is Chuck with Fans with Bands, and I am talking to Jake from Moon Orchids. Jake, how you doing?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing really good. And we have a fan, Jessica. Jessica, how are you?
Good. I've known Jake for quite some time now. So
We go way
Awesome.
back.
That's good. That's good. Well, Jake, I was intrigued when I got your email where it mentioned that Moon Orchids was how did you phrase it? Oh, slowcore Americana, and with references to Neil Young and Crazy Horse. And I was like, all right. And I went and checked out the new self-titled album, and I was like, this is really interesting. I got to talk to these guys. So thanks so much for getting hold of me and for being on Fans with Bands.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
So I like to try to start at the beginning and talk about like how Moon Orchids came to be. How did the band form?
Sure. So, the story of the band, we were formed in the summer of 2021 by myself, Bailey Miller, and Morgan Kelty. I had a bunch of songs I'd written throughout the COVID-19 lockdown, and I wanted a new band to serve as the vehicle for them. So, since we're all friends, we knew each other through previous endeavors in the West Michigan music scene, it was easy to get together and start playing.
Oh,
So, the
nice.
three of us kind of started as a semi-acoustic trio. I played 12-string acoustic guitar, Bailey played electric guitar, and Mo played trumpet. And then that lineup recorded a four-song EP with Brendan Infante, who later joined us on drums. Then Jeremy Kronk joined us on bass, and yeah, soon enough we got a full-length LP that just came out in
Awesome.
February.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, the full length LP, it definitely has there's a lot of dynamic shifts. You go from some, just straight up acoustic material, and then you got some other stuff that's very, like you said, that has that sort of Crazy Horse feel with the distorted guitars and um, the sort of country-ish, but not, and kind of heavy. I'm thinking of like Universe Blues, which is
Absolutely.
probably my favorite song. Um, but what what was the what was the writing process like for you guys? Are you looking to um, somebody to come up with a particular song, and then the rest of the band adds their pieces, or do you work together and jam out ideas? How does that come together, and how did that work with the new album?
Right. I have, for all of our material, I've served as the songwriter of this band. And typically, what I will do is I'll get an acoustic demo together, just voice and acoustic guitar, go through the lyrics, the chords, and the melody that I've written, and send the demo along with the lyrics and chords to the rest of the band. And then everyone just kind of adds their own pieces to fall within those parameters. So, kind of skeletons of songs are what I'm giving them. Then we all flesh it out together.
Nice. So was there any particular song on the new album that everyone was like, I guess was there universal agreement on the songs and the song order, or was it a little bit of a negotiation with the band to try to figure out like which one, how do we arrange this? Because I think what you've done with the album is a really nice way of introducing the music. You've got starts off, with shoot, what's the first song? It's the
The
part
Gospel
two.
Tree 2.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a really sedate song, and then you go into you know uh, basically a heavier song, and then there's various mixes. So, what was the feeling for the band as far as like that song orders and arrangement of those?
I tried to bring the quote unquote band songs to the band, I guess. Anything that I thought could be better off electrified and kind of made more fleshed out, less gentle, I would
Hmm.
have brought to them. There were a couple other songs that we rehearsed, kind of tried our hand at that either just weren't gelling or didn't totally make it. And one song, actually, Candy Tells Me, the single, got cut from the record at the last minute.
Oh wow.
But we did record that as well.
Wow. All right. So, there, like I mentioned, there's different dynamics on the album, and I'm curious, which one do you which of those songs, if you could pick one, best represents Moon Orchids?
The Gospel Tree, the closing track.
Yeah. And
Yep,
what is it
that's
about that song do you think speaks to the band?
that's got kind of the core quintet on it. That's all me, Bailey, Mo, Brendan, and Jeremy. I think kind of at the peak of our powers within the band. And everyone's really putting a lot into that one, and I think it shows.
Nice. Yeah, I do love that song. I think it is it's a fun way to end the song the album. But if you put it on like a continuous play, it it really does loop it back in, which I think is fantastic. I love the way that transitions there. It's like
Good,
you
awesome.
yeah, you can just continue. I mean, if you're continuously looping it, which I was doing that for the last couple of days to just kind of immerse myself in the music, it is very cool how that transitions in those two songs. So, what is the history behind that, the gospel tree? Can you give me some of the background behind that?
The Gospel Tree, I think that song in a nutshell deals with some sort of disillusionment, frustration, moving on to better things, getting out of bad circumstances. I think a theme we can all relate to. But actually, the phrase monkeys in our gospel tree came to me from a man at Bronson Park in Kalamazoo, Michigan,
Really?
who came up to me and was talking to me about people with monkeys in their gospel tree, which I guess was supposed to mean preoccupations or hangups. And that phrase just hit me like that has a melody to it,
Yeah.
that sticks with you.
Yeah.
And the song kind of wrote itself around that.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. So, I mean, when did this happen? I'm just curious. Like, was it during COVID or?
Summer 2023,
Oh, so it's more
maybe
recent,
June or July 2023. Yeah.
all right. And you just happened to be out in Bronson Parks, and that person was there and
Yeah, I used to live in downtown Kalamazoo and I'd walk around frequently on my lunch break or after work. I'd just kind of bum around and yeah, a fella approached me and started talking about monkeys in his gospel tree, or not in his gospel tree, monkeys in other people's gospel
yeah.
trees.
Nice. That's crazy. So, Fans with Bands is more than me just asking questions. Jessica, did you have any questions for Jake? I don't know.
Um, I did. I was gonna ask where like your inspiration is coming from because as someone who knows you and like listens to these songs, I'm like there's obviously things that I haven't experienced or don't know that you've experienced, or if the songs are about love, or if they can be taken a totally different way. It could be about you moving to Colorado or, starting a new relationship or, yeah. So I guess where, what parts of your life do you take inspiration from?
Thinking about the songs on this record, all of these songs were written before I moved to Colorado. So actually, that theme, if anything from that did come up, that's purely incidental. And actually, I think one of the songs mentions Denver too, which is really funny. Um, but yeah, no, a lot of the songs deal with love and not just romantic love, but love among friends, human relationships, because I think it's maybe the most tired topic in all of music, and yet we're still singing about it.
I don't
Well,
think it'll ever be tired though. People are so interesting and they're always going to keep giving you inspiration. And sometimes we run out of inspiration, like seeing the same things online, seeing the trends or what is going on with music and all the stuff that's like kind of more predictable. So I think like just people and like their uniqueness, that's where I draw inspiration from, like in my life. So.
yeah,
You're absolutely right. And every relationship, every friendship, those are all different too. Every dynamic is different. So it's a good
yeah,
point.
yeah. And I do think that this album, many of the tunes are short stories in a way, and I think we all have that affinity for stories and telling stories. Either about ourselves or about you know some random person that comes up and says, "You got monkeys in your gospel tree," and you're like, "Oh, I didn't realize," you know.
It's a real friend who will bring that to your attention.
So,
Also, every
oh, go
song is
ahead.
autobiographical. Every song by every songwriter is autobiographical. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, well,
Got to be
now,
drawing from something.
yeah, I was just listening. There's this great podcast. I don't know if you guys have listened to it. It's called History of Music in 500 Songs,
Oh
and
no.
it it is awesome. The guy, it's Andrew Hickey. He's in somewhere in Great Britain, and he has so much research into these songs. And when you were talking about like someone says that, or when you were saying that all songs are autobiographical by the songwriter. I was just listening to him. He was talking about Bob Dylan. He's actually talking about the Rolling Stones' "Sympathy for the Devil," that song, but with a lot of history. But he was talking about the fact that you know in the Stones they were actually either singing other people's songs or writing autobiographical songs. And some of them were kind of mean spirited. But Bob Dylan always claimed that all that stuff was made up. He never sang a song about himself. And I was like, oh, when you said that, I was like, oh, I wonder what Bob Dylan would have to say about this.
Don't believe anything Bob Dylan says. He's a pathological liar. I think actually I'm reading Bruce Springsteen's memoirs right now, and he said something along the lines of that musicians lie on a daily basis to tell the ultimate truth. And I love that.
Yeah, yeah. Is that the book that came out a few years ago?
Born to Run.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'm reading that.
Yeah, I read that last year, maybe a year and a half ago. And funny thing is I actually listened to it because most of the time I'm doing Audible books, and so Bruce is, narrating. He's reading to you, so that was really fun. And I'll be honest, I was never a Bruce Springsteen fan. Like I was like, whatever. I take or leave his music. But after reading that book, I went back and I was like, I gotta go re-listen to Born to Run and Ashbury Park, and I was like, holy shit, I was just missing this for so long. I just like totally blew it off. Like, yeah, Bruce Springsteen, born in the USA. That's whatever.
He is the coolest guy, and actually I had a kind of similar experience. I always wanted to like him because I just think he's so cool. Like he's
Yeah,
a good role model, he's a genuine dude, he's very righteous. And I just got into him within the last year. Like his music finally clicked, and that felt so good. It was like I've loved this guy for so long, it's good to actually be his fan now.
that's cool. Well, you do have similarities in that the even some of the vocal stylings that you have on the album have a little bit of that Bruce. I was thinking of like Springsteen. I was thinking of obviously Neil Young, and in some ways, have you ever heard a band called the Drones?
Yeah, I haven't listened to him though.
Yeah, well, I only know one song. It's called Shark Fin Blues, which is fantastic. But a little of that too, just kind of especially when you guys play. Again, my favorite song is Universe Blues. That kind of distorted guitar that seems like it's about to go out of control, but it stays in and you kind of maintain it. I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, barely controlled chaos. That's our trade.
so speaking of that song, can you give me the backstory on that on Universe Blues?
Universe Blues. I think I was just in a bad mood when I wrote that. And that was the first song that I have written from lyrics. I kind of was in the practice of like maybe running through a couple chord sequences or finding a riff or something and then writing lyrics and a melody from that. But I
Hmm.
did this one the other way around. And
Oh,
so that's why the lyrics are kind of more spaced out. The vocals are kind of more spaced out in places. Um, and that one, yeah, I don't think it took me very long to write that. It probably took about 15, 20 minutes. And the initial arrangement was going to be way different from the way we recorded it. And I'm glad that it didn't work out because the way we recorded it is pretty good.
nice. So where did you end up recording the album at?
Most of that was done by Mike Roche at Broadside Productions in Kalamazoo.
Nice. Awesome.
Yep, we did most of that there as a live band, and then any overdubs or any of the more acoustic stuff we would do either at Brendan Infante's home, our drummer,
Hmm.
or Mark Morris's home.
Nice. And as far as like the studio itself, that experience, I know you've recorded you had a 4-track EP before and a couple singles. Uh, was it the same studio, or was it more DIY the first time and this was studio action? What was the differences?
Yeah, the first EP was done. Brendan used to live in a home in Battle Creek, and he had a home studio in the basement. Very spacious, big home studio, and we recorded the whole first EP there. And then one of the tracks from the first EP was also issued as a single. So then when we did, he moved to Kalamazoo at some point in between, and we did most of the recording at Broadside then.
Nice. So, how did you end up meeting the folks that are in the band?
I think Bailey and Brendan I met from house shows back before the whole COVID thing. Um, yeah, I had actually I just became friends with them and then lockdown hit. So we kind of had a text only relationship for a good several months. But no, I met them, I saw their bands, and I thought they were great. They seemed like cool guys, and they did indeed turn out to be cool guys. Jeremy, kind of same situation. I've known him from way back because we have some mutual friends in common that I knew in Grand Rapids.
Okay.
And then Mo and I actually worked together in Kalamazoo.
Oh, all right.
And I noticed within just a few minutes of talking to them, they had very good musical taste, and we had a lot of things in common. So,
Nice, nice. Was there any particular music that you all kind of gelled around?
well, let's see. For the band in general, I would say Big Thief is a big one. We all like Big Thief in this camp. Neil Young and Crazy Horse, pretty obvious one, I think. Um, Jason Molina and the Magnolia Electric Company. It's another one. Yo La Tango.
Nice, nice. Do you have a particular Neil Young song that you love the most and that you are a fan of playing as much as possible?
Let's see. Powderfinger is really great.
Oh.
I think that's like a perfect song. And I still don't know what happens to the narrator at the end. So it's a sign of a good song, leaves you thinking.
Yeah.
Cortez the Killer, good jam. It's
Oh
a lot of
yeah.
good ones.
Yeah. Cortez the Killer. So I was that song when I first heard it, and every time that I do hear it, I want to play guitar with it, just because you just want to keep jam. It's like such an awesome jam, you know. Plus, it's just I don't know the way he's written it, the way he sings it. Yeah. Have
For
you seen
sure.
Have you seen Neil live?
Yes. Actually, most of us, I think all of us except Jeremy, calling him out here, saw him in Crazy Horse in Detroit last May.
Oh
And that
yeah,
actually ended up being the last show they played before they canceled the rest of that tour due to
yeah.
illness. So that was really cool.
Nice. Are you going to see him again?
Yeah, he's coming to Denver with the Chrome Hearts, but I'm gonna hold off and see if he cancels these shows too
Ah. So
before I
you're
buy any.
so you're actually in Colorado right now?
That's right. I'm in Boulder, Colorado.
Wow. So how did you end up out there?
My partner, now wife, lives out here.
Oh,
She moved out here just before I did. We were both going to school at Western Michigan University, and she moved out here to join a PhD program at CU Boulder.
nice.
So I was still an undergrad. I waited to finish up undergrad, and then I joined her in June of last year.
Very nice. How do you like it there?
It's really nice. It really is sunny 300 days a year. Like that's no lie.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Have you gone into I'm gonna assume yes, but the Flatirons and uh, hiking through there and up to Estes Park and
Absolutely. Yeah, we were just at Estes Park like last weekend, no, 2 weekends ago, and we saw a horde of elk on the trail. Like
really?
150, 200 of them just approaching the trail. They did not care about us whatsoever. Not threatened, not scared.
Did
Oh.
you pet them?
We did not pet them. My wife very much wanted to, but I had to hold her back. I thought that was crossing a boundary.
So sweet.
Yeah, they do. I mean, yeah, it's, what are they? A bull elk's what, 1,000, 1,200 pounds? But, they could be home pets, right?
Yes.
You
Yeah.
could keep them in the backyard, you
Yep,
know?
just throwing in the hatch. All good.
So Jake, what's your story as far as your evolution in music? How did you get inspired to want to play music? Who were the people that were pivotal in your life as far as you wanting to play, and how did that evolve?
I started out as a sixth grade clarinet player.
All
Played
right.
clarinet in the high school marching band and orchestra from sixth through 11th grade. And I can't say I really took it seriously at that point, or not seriously enough, but it gave me a good foundation. When I was about 16, I kind of started screwing around on the acoustic guitar. And then, like 18, 19, I'd say I took it a little more seriously. And then I spent my teen years and my early 20s playing in kind of post punk noise rock bands around Grand Rapids, which is where I'm originally from.
Nice. And which I'm just curious, like when were you in those bands in Grand
I would
Rapids?
have been I was in a few non starters for a couple years in my early 20s. And then I played in the band Dory from 2015 to 2017.
All
I'll
right.
say, yeah, we have one album out, still out there if you can find it.
All right, cool. Awesome. Who were some of your influences, your musical influences besides obviously Neil Young?
Black Flag was a really big early influence, actually. Henry Rollins in particular. I think he's a very well-spoken dude. He's kind of one of the OG punks, and he's also one of the OG Renaissance men from that era.
Yeah.
And I've always kind of looked up to him. I've always appreciated his philosophy. And Tim Majette as well, who I'm grateful to call a friend of mine, played in the band Silkworm. Now he plays in the band Mint Mile, and he's been very encouraging, very supportive. Kind of got me thinking about taking songwriting more seriously.
Nice. So anybody in your family into music? Did your parents play, or did you have music in the house?
More casually. My dad listened to music casually. My mom always had ELO's greatest hits in our car CD
Awesome.
player. Yeah. I saw, kind of off topic, but we saw ELO here in Denver in October.
Oh,
Um, Honest to God, like one of the three best shows I've ever seen in my life.
yeah. I went to see him at Little Caesars, Jeff Lynne's ELO when, oh shoot, I think that was pre-COVID. But that, yeah, was an awesome show. It was so good. I mean, I love ELO songs, but the show was fantastic. Yeah.
Was that the show with Donnie Harrison opening?
Uh, I don't really remember. I'm not sure. But yeah,
Okay.
it was like I want to say like 2019 maybe. But yeah, and I can't remember. I think I so as far as like vinyl music and stuff, I kept all my collection from when I was a kid, right? So I had my record player and stuff, and I always loved ELO, and I had shoot, I can't think of the name of the album right now. I think it's the one with the spaceships like kind of taking off. But I always wanted to get the older ELO albums, which I never had. So I ended up getting them, and I was just listening to those, and then I saw that Jeff Lynne was like doing this tour, and I'm like, oh, I should go. What the hell, I'd
I
never
found
seen him before.
that album for $1.
What?
I found that album for $1.
Oh, really? Was it in good
But it
shape?
also what's that?
Was it in good shape?
Yeah, no, it plays great. I still have it, but it's only one of the vinyl. There's supposed to be two of them, but that's my favorite one, the one with the spaceship. I believe it's called Out of the Blue.
Out of
Oh,
the
yeah,
blue. I paid like 20 for that. You got it for $1?
Yeah, I found it for $1, and luckily it's the side that has like my more favorite songs on it.
yeah. Oh man, that's awesome.
That's a great record. I like El Dorado. You want to talk early ELO? El Dorado that's a great album.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. What was hey, man? There was a particular ELO song that used to be used for like world, and this is probably way before you guys' time. This is because I'm dating myself, but there used to be this show, Worldwide Sports, and they used to have this theme song, but it was ELO. It was that shit, I can't think of the name of it now, but and I can't even think of like the melody of it. But it's like this kind of like a orchestral marching song, dun, 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 almost like the Star Wars theme. But yeah, I don't know. I'm rambling now about ELO, but
No, ELO's a good thing to ramble about. We love Jeff Lynne. We're a Jeff Lynne family.
Yes, we are.
Do you think that it had any impact on you later? Because I know that when my mom listened to like she used to listen to Fleetwood Mac quite a bit, and also Patsy Cline and a bunch of other stuff. But a lot of that, oh, and Stevie Wonder, that all kind of like filtered into me. And later in life, I'm like, oh, I mean, at the time, sometimes I was like, oh, why are we listening to this again? But later on, I was like, oh, this is fantastic. Was that kind of that way as far as your mom being like, I love ELO?
Totally. Yeah, that stuff was kind of embedded in us at a pretty young age. But like coming back as an adult and putting on an ELO record or listening to like Queen's Greatest Hits or something by The Who, it's like that's all great classic stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna ask you both a question, and that's what was your very first album you bought with your own money?
I love this question. I love this question. I bought and I didn't even know I didn't know who she was even at the time, which is crazy. But my friend loved Taylor Swift, and I didn't even know what her music sounded like. I was in the fourth grade, and I had Christmas money, and I was like, I'm gonna buy a Taylor Swift CD. So I bought Fearless,
Oh,
and um, just a fun little detail. We used to buy CDs at Meyer, which I'm not sure where you're from, Chuck, but we
Ann
are from.
Arbor.
Oh, okay. So you know Meyer then.
Yeah, yeah,
So Meyer used to have like it was basically like a little record store there.
yeah,
Remember that, Jake?
I do.
That's where I bought it from. They don't have that
oh,
anymore. Their selection is not that cool, but
yeah, yeah. For a while there, it was uh, like all those kind of like department-ish stores, right? So like, I think even Target used to have some music, and it used to be like again way back in the day, like some like pharmacies would have like either tapes or CDs or vinyl albums, and yeah, it's crazy. So, Jake, how about you? What was your very first album purchase?
Actually, also Meyer. And now that Jeremy's here, he's gonna love this answer. It was Metallica, either Master of Puppets or Kill 'Em All. I can't remember which one. I want to
Ah,
say Kill 'Em All because I went chronologically.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
on
whack.
CD. Yeah.
that's awesome. Yes, we
Jeremy's a
do.
big Metallica fan, so
Ah,
I'm glad he could be here in time for that.
Yeah, we got Jeremy. Jeremy, how you doing, man?
good. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good to see you.
What's up,
Yeah, it's
Mr.
good to see
Kronk?
you.
Not too much. Just made it home. Good old 12-hour day at school. Telling parents about their kids at conferences tonight. But
Nice,
I'm home and I'm here and I'm happy to be here.
awesome. And Jeremy, you play bass, right, with Moon Orchids?
Yeah. I played bass on about half the songs on the most recent. I mean the album that was just released, and then
Yeah,
I played a little bit of slide guitar as well, and actually a
uh,
little bit of rhythm guitar as well, secretly.
secretly. All right.
He's a utilitarian.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And for anybody that's listening that doesn't know, Jeremy's also does dual duty because is in Lucius Fox as well. So yeah, crazy, awesome.
Yes.
So Jeremy, I
Absolutely.
had already asked some questions about the self-titled album, but I'm curious, what song on that album do you think speaks to the essence of that band of Moon Orchids?
That's a tough question. They're all so good. Um, I I love the album. I feel like I'm selfishly attached to the ones that I got to record on and play with Jake and the rest of the band. Um, I love the Gospel Tree too. Or sorry, I love the Gospel Tree too. I love the Gospel Tree,
Yeah,
the bookends of the album. I love when albums have that kind of cohesion of starting at one spot and ending at the same spot, and maybe kind of a reprise or like a different way. Um, I love those two pieces. I love You Don't Need a History. Just
yeah,
quick, beautiful, pretty, just Jake and an acoustic guitar. but it's I don't know, the whole album's really great. It was a lot of fun to be a part of. I love that kind of music, and most of the time that I'm playing music, I'm playing really loud, crazy, weird stuff. So
Yeah.
it's really fun to get to work on that other side of music that I also really like a lot.
Nice. Nice.
Hey, to your point, I said the gospel tree as well when Chuck
Let's
asked me.
go.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And when you were mentioning that those bookends, that's what I was mentioning to Jake and Jessica is that I listen to it on repeat, and you get this really cool kind of flow, when you're
Yeah.
listening to it like that because it just kind of wraps back around,
Yeah.
and you've got, and I was telling Jake as well the dynamics in the album, the going from the light to the heavier, and the guitars like in um, Universe Blues, where it just feels like ready to get like out of
Massive.
control.
Yeah.
And but then the more sedate songs, like you mentioned, you don't need a history. That yeah, I love that tune. That's a really good like just, and it's right in the middle of the album too.
Yeah.
The way you've structured the album, I think is a key too, because it kind of walks you through all those different feelings and moods. So
Thank you. Want it to be like a sine wave.
Yeah. There
nice.
you go.
That's awesome. So, sort of along those lines of like your first album, what was the very first concert you went to?
First concert I went to would have been, well, first concert I went to would have been some punk band at the Take Hold Church in Grand Rapids, whose name I don't recall. Went to a few of those in high school. First like big name show I went to would have been Motorhead at the
Oh,
Orbit Room in Grand Rapids.
oh wow, the Orbit Room. Wow, awesome.
Yeah.
Jessica, how about you?
Mine was All Time Low because I was a pop punk girly in middle school.
Nice.
And that was at the intersection in Grand Rapids.
Awesome. Yeah. Both. I don't think the Orbit Room's around anymore, is it? I don't think so.
I don't think so. That was on the East Belt line, if I recall correctly.
Yep. Yeah. I saw a Clutch there. With
Yeah, Clutch
yeah.
opened for Motorhead when I saw him.
Oh, really? Holy
Yeah,
crap. Well, I missed that show. Damn it.
great live band.
Yeah. 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 I think I saw it was COC, American Sharks, and Clutch. Yeah, over at the Orbit Room. And somebody else I saw. Oh, Warren Haynes. Um, saw that guy over there, and it's like, oh, yeah. But that was a cool room. But I do like the intersection quite a bit too. And last night I made it for the very first time. I've never been there before. The Pyramid Scheme. It's
Oh
been
my gosh, you've never been there?
yeah, it's been forever. I keep hearing about shows there, and lots of great shows have been there. And I'm like, I don't know, things
Well,
haven't worked out.
you're on the east side, right?
Ann Arbor, so it's
Or oh,
2 hour.
okay, okay.
It's a
Yeah.
2 hour drive to go to a show there, so you
So
got to
many
be
great
committed.
shows there, though. So many great ones that I've even seen. Like Jake used to bring me to shows, so that's kind of what got me into like. I mean, I wouldn't even say like I'm that into music like how you guys are, where you know like the history and everything. Um, but yeah, it's fun. It's just really, really loud there, so make sure um have ear protection.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Jessica, you and I have been to like 100 shows there. Probably a lot more, honestly.
We used to go because they would have like I swear every show there that we would go to would have like three openers. So then we would get to see all these other bands and we would just kind of go and the tickets would be sometimes like 10, $15. So he would even pay for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, go on a weeknight.
It
Yeah,
was fun times.
awesome. So, along that line, what's a really memorable show that you saw at the Pyramid Scheme?
Man.
Um,
Yeah.
oh no, you go ahead. You didn't say your first concert, Jeremy.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I think my first like real concert was Sponge. Like they are y'all familiar with Sponge?
Oh yeah, yeah.
They had like one fairly
Rot,
big single, yeah,
yeah,
or
Rotting Pinata.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They I am from Kalamazoo, and they were playing. at some park in Portage, and I don't know, my mom got us tickets for it when I was probably like 11, and we went. And I kind of knew the ones. I think they had. I think it's called Plowed was like
Yeah,
their big song.
it's Plowed, yeah.
Yeah, I knew that one. And then they had another one that I didn't know as well, but my mom knew. 16 Candles.
Yeah.
And so that was pretty cool. And then there was like a local opener. There was like a grungy band. This is probably in like 2002, 2003 or something.
Nice.
And that was pretty cool. I think like first big concert I went to was Green Day when they were touring on American Idiot and My Chemical Romance. And I guess kind of, regardless of how anybody feels about those bands, it was a really cool experience for me as like a 13-year-old or I guess 14-year-old.
That's awesome.
Seeing like big, I don't know,
Yeah.
seeing not heavy music, but like rock and roll punk on that type of stage it was really cool. And
Yeah.
then it
Yeah,
was just kind of the floodgates are open.
Yeah, there's something about when you hear, at least for me, because I love guitar, but just hearing the music that loud, and you see somebody way
Oh
down
my
on
gosh.
on the stage, and you're like, wow, how do they do that? Like, how
Yeah.
do they make that? And as a guitar player, you're like, I want to make that kind of sound. So it
Yeah.
just fills this whole place, It's
Exactly.
like,
And I just remember at the time you could still smoke cigarettes inside. And so I just remember the next morning just
oh yeah,
14-year-old me like reeking of cigarettes and weed and just being like, yeah, this is so cool. Like this is it. And yeah, that was awesome. And then I just like I feel like went to exponentially more shows each year after that. And I still I don't know. I've probably plateaued now, but I still get out to quite a few shows.
yeah. I was gonna say I see quite a bit out that
Yeah,
you're not playing, you're just there sporting. So that's cool.
absolutely.
Yeah, hell yeah. So, related to the pyramids game, who wants to go first as far as like, I don't have any history, so I've only seen one show, and that was last night. So, um, what about you guys?
Mr. Kronk, you want to keep the mic?
Sure. Was the Carbon Decoy show last night?
Oh yeah, Carbon Decoy with Slumlord Radio and Bramp York.
Oh heck yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It looked like a great bill. Carbon
yeah.
Decoy is amazing.
I know, I love those dudes.
Awesome. Uh, man, the Pyramid Scheme is my favorite venue for sure. It just seems like a lot of the bands that I like end up going through there when they're on the west side of the state. But I think if I had to pick a favorite show that I've seen there, it'd probably be Russian Circles and Deaf Heaven in
Oh,
2011. It was Russian Circles had just released an album, Emperos. I think it's their fourth album, and that was amazing for me. It's my first time seeing them, and I think it's probably my first time at the Pyramid Scheme. But it was great, and Deaf Heaven was like just breaking out, and they'd released Roads to Judah, so it was before they exploded with Sunbather.
mhm.
But they were like still like on everybody's radar, like, oh, this is the next band to watch. And I hated them. I thought they were terrible. Like I had no hearing protection. I wasn't
Oh,
initiated yet, and I was right in
yeah,
front of one of the guitar amps, and it was just like harsh, and all their songs are like 10 minutes, and
yeah.
I was just like, what is this? Why are you doing this to me? But Russian Circles was amazing.
I
It was
know.
great. And then like I grew to love Death Heaven. Like the summer after that, I listened to that album a bunch. I was like, oh, this is actually really great. And they put out Sunbather, and then I was just like, oh wow, this is amazing. It's cool that I saw this band
Yeah,
with like a couple hundred people at the Pyramid Scheme.
yeah.
But that's like solidified. I think is like my I don't know. It was the experience that I think about with the Pyramid Scheme when I think about my early days of going there.
Awesome, awesome. Jake or Jessica, who wants to go?
I'm actually going to piggyback off Jeremy here because he mentioned volume and not being prepared. And I saw Swans at the Pyramid Scheme in 2015, and I didn't have earplugs and didn't think I needed them. That was the loudest show I've ever
Oh my
seen in my
gosh.
life. They were workshopping stuff for the Glowing Man record that they put out the year after that. And I'm actually, I'm look at the set list right now. It was 6 songs in probably 2.5 hours.
Oh my
Those
God.
guys will like find one note and just ride on it at full volume for like a half hour. But it was incredible. Everyone was like, what did I just see?
Yeah. That's awesome. Jessica, how about you?
I would have to say my favorite show at the Pyramid Scheme would either be Youth Lagoon. That was my best friend's favorite band, and I was actually gonna go with Jake, but then he like couldn't go. He ended up having something going on, so he gave the ticket to my friend, and I got to take her. So it's super fun. And then also, what was it? There's one that we saw together. I want to say it was like Tiger's Jaw or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Did you and I? So I think it was that show. Did Alex G open?
It was something cool like that. It was like either Alex G or like Tiger's Jaw. I might have missed out on the also my cat wants to say hi.
Hey, Gigi.
Hello.
I might have missed out on Tiger's Jaw and then been really sad about it. So maybe I'm just like, I don't know.
No, no, no. I want to say I could be wrong, but if memory serves me, I want to say Alex G opened for Tiger's Jaw at that show. And I think you and I both agreed that like he was kind of the act to see that time.
Yeah, they kind of have a lot of openers. I also want to note, my most recent favorite show, would be my friends Low Phase. I went to high school with them and they're all really great people and literally their music is so catchy and so good and like I just had so much fun at that show.
Awesome. Are they from Kalamazoo, Grand Rapids? Where are they
They're
from?
from Grand Rapids.
All right, awesome. I'll have to
Yeah.
check that out. I always am looking, it's the uh it's not a curse really. It's a gift wanting to always look for new music. So it's like when somebody mentions a band I've not heard of, I'm like, "Oh, gotta go check that
There
out."
is so much talent here in Grand Rapids.
Yeah. Well, I was talking to somebody. I did a
Kalamazoo.
yeah, well, in the state because I was talking to a guy, his name's Seth Werkheiser. He does this really cool newsletter. He's worked in music for years and years, and he's on Substack. And his newsletter is the Social Media Escape Club. So basically, what he's saying is like, and he's particularly speaking to musicians and bands, is that you're wasting your time by trying to create these reels and put all this effort into this content that you're putting on social media because you're getting, three people that see that. And if you instead cultivated people at your shows to either sign up to a newsletter or stay in contact with you directly, then you're speaking to your audience all the time. You always get their attention because they're part of your email group. They care about your music. They've wanted to somehow interact with you, and so they are paying attention. And it's you know social media is all about paying attention, but it's trying to get your attention to look at 50 different spots. But anyway, I was talking to him because we did like a Substack live, so it's still social media in a way, right? Because you never really get away from it. But anyway, he was asking. I was talking about I don't know something, maybe it was gig or whatever, but he was talking about um, local music, and I was like, there's just so much here in Michigan. So you were mentioning Low Phase and Grand Rapids, and there's Kalamazoo has this huge scene of music. Been to quite a few shows there, and just love what's going on over there. But same thing in Grand Rapids. There's pockets up in like Traverse City, Marquette, even it's way the hell up there. There are people that are jamming and stuff, and then of course, obviously the Detroit, Ann Arbor, Ypsi area is just ridiculous amount of talent. But yeah, it's so cool, and then like even the, Bay City. I don't know who lives there or goes there, but
The
they've
Bay
got
City Rollers, that's who.
yes. Oh yes, the Bay City Rollers, so good. So Jake, if Moon Orchids could do a show anywhere in the world, where would you like that show to be, and who would you like to be on the bill with?
Bells in Kalamazoo. We've already
Awesome.
played there a couple times. They're just really great. They're really great to work with. The sound's really good. Yeah. I like them. I guess if we could play with anyone, it'd be nice to play with Mint Mile. We've been talking about getting something together with them for a while. I'd play with Parlor Voice again anytime.
Nice.
Just a couple bands.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I do love Bells. I think they've got a cool stage set up there. Did you play in the back room or did you just play out in the beer garden?
Sorry, I was muted. You go ahead, Mr. Kronk.
Oh, uh, we, I did you guys, you played a few shows, like kind of like around the time that the first album was released, or like the first like EP was released, right?
Yeah, yeah. We played well, we as a five-piece band, we played two shows at Bell's and they were both in
Yeah.
the back room.
But okay, so but that was the first time that like the project played at Bell's though.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, actually I played at Bell's shortly before we played there. I was playing bass in
With
Bailey's band, Blood at
Blood at
Ease.
Ease. Yeah, that's right. We
Yeah,
played
with
with
you guys, with Lucius Fox. Yeah.
us and Ficus. Yeah, that was a really cool show.
Nice.
Everyone knows each other.
Yeah, it's the Venn diagram is a circle.
Up on and
It
say, because I know Ficus as well, because I went to high school with, I want to say, a couple of them in that band. So
Oh shoot, that's awesome. Which ones?
Blake, I know
Oh,
Blake.
okay. Yeah, he's a great
And
dude.
I've done photos. He does. I've taken photos for them too, and it's really fun. So
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like a lot of people I grew up with, like, I don't know. I went to school in Rockford, and for some reason, like, that community there had so many, like, I mean, we've seen so much talent come out of there, and especially bands and music. Like, definitely, like, Ficus and Low Phase are my favorites. And I don't even just say that because they're my friends. Like,
Oh, they're really good.
they're really good. Like, yeah, it's just definitely like those hidden gems, because we are a smaller town compared to, many other places. So,
Yeah. Well, Ficus has been getting a little bit of buzz because I've seen they got some show going on, but I saw them just for the first time last year over at Fuzzfest, and
Mhm.
Yeah.
I was
I
like,
think
"Wow, who is this band? What the hell's going on here?"
I think they were just at the Pyramid Scheme like last or this past weekend. I want to say.
Yeah, I remember seeing this. I mean, I'm following them now and just to see where they play, and so I can go see them again because
Yeah.
they were great. They were last year. I was like, wow, this is a crazy awesome band because it's got again that kind of the, there's familiarity in that they are like some of the song structures, but then just completely unique presentation and they they jam and it was pretty
Yeah.
wild because they were on this. I don't know if you've ever been to Fuzz Fest, but they do two stages. It's at the Blind Pig in Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
They do the main stage, which is the real stage, and then they put the second stage, is really in the corner in front of the sound guy's board, basically, and it's just on the floor. And so
Yeah.
if it gets crazy, or you get a bunch of people, you're like in the band, like they're playing here, the mic's here, you're here. It's like wow,
Continuous, all same community,
yeah,
band and audience.
yeah, it is so yeah, that was so fun. But yeah, they were on that just on the floor, so we're all just right there in their face, and so it was cool.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah,
They put on a really really awesome trajectory. I'm excited to see what they do next.
yeah, yeah. So Jake, now that I mean you're in Colorado, what are the plans for Moon Orchids? Are you gonna try to do some shows, or is it just a recording project where people can experience the music?
So I've been kind of not giving anyone a straight answer on this, and maybe I should attempt to do that now. On hiatus is kind of a cop out, but it's the most accurate answer here. So as you mentioned, I moved to Boulder. I live here with my wife. Bailey left the group amidst the recording of the new album to devote his time to his band, Blood at Ease, which Brendan also plays drums for. We've kind of considered the possibility of a remote recording arrangement, but given the competing priorities, commitments, and interests, none of which are helped by me now being a couple time zones away,
Yeah.
I'm not sure how that would work out realistically in the long term. So we kind of had the awareness that this album may have been our last, at least our last under this configuration, and we treat it as such. I don't want to close any doors also with regards to reforming the group, but it'll likely be a while before that conversation takes place.
So are you, I have to imagine that, you're still actively writing music. So do you plan to do things out in Colorado or?
Oh, certainly. Yeah, I've played a couple of solo sets out here so far. I've got about enough material for at least an album, and I'd like to start recording that shortly,
Awesome.
probably to be put out under my own name. And like I said, I mean, Bailey's got his group, Jeremy's got Lucius Fox, Brendan's got, I don't know how many bands now, but enough, more than we have fingers. Yeah, we've all
Yeah.
got stuff to keep us busy.
That's awesome. Yeah. Brendan's the drummer. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. Drum. Yeah. You get a good drummer. They're going to be in at least 3 bands. At least. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. That is, unless they've got like some crazy job that they're doing, to actually pay the bills. That keeps them, working like 16 hours. And then they're probably only in 2 bands. But otherwise, yeah, 3, 5, 10.
He has a job too, and he also mixes bands professionally. So I don't know how he does it, but
And he
he does a
runs a
great job.
venue also. He runs a
That's
house
right.
venue too. Like he does so many things. I it gives me anxiety thinking about all the things that he does, and he does amazing at all of it too, which is
That's awesome.
beyond me. It's very very cool.
Yeah, I
That
was worried about like his sleep schedule for a while, but he's still totally with it when I talk to him. So
Yeah, absolutely.
it hasn't thrown him that you're like 2 hours off, and he's like, "Oh shit, I can't call you right now. It's 4 o'clock in the morning over there. It's 6 here. I'm ready to go."
I'll always pick up for Brendan.
That's awesome. So, you know, what's your what's what is what's the right way to say this? What is the how do you like to enjoy your music? What's the setting? What's the delivery mechanism? Do you prefer vinyl, streaming? Do you like to, is it in the car where you're listening to most music? And this is a question for all of you. Uh, how do you like to consume your music? Let's start with Jake.
For me, it's always vinyl first and foremost. I want to support the artist. I want to get a good physical recording, and vinyl's my favorite. I like the side separation, and I like thinking about that side separation when writing for a record too. Um, and I like that it's hard to skip tracks. You know, it's kind of a pain. It's work, so you have to listen to it all the way through. And maybe those B sides that you didn't like as much the first time around are actually the best songs.
Yeah, awesome. Let's see. Jessica, how about you?
Yikes, guys. I'm gonna have to say Spotify. I listen to music when I drive, when I run, and sometimes when I work on because I'm a photographer, if I'm working on a photo shoot, I like to put an album that's kind of the vibe of what I'm going for, to like inspire me.
Uh-huh.
Uh, but a lot of the times I'm like either in a cafe or like I'll move around a lot or like I don't know. So I don't do as much vinyl as I would like to, but I
Yeah.
try to buy merch every time and I love buying merch anyways, so but I do love me some Spotify. So
Oh, there you go. Cool. And Jeremy, how about you?
I if it was feasible, I would always choose vinyl. So I listen to a lot of records. Like last night, I feel like it's usually when I'm doing a task or just like hanging out with folks or hanging out on my own at home and doing
Yeah.
something. But I had to bake cookies for school last night, and by the time I got around to it, it was like 9:45, and I didn't want to do it, and I was very tired, and I was like, ah. But I threw an album on, and that like motivated me and got me through it. But I love physical media. I love vinyl. I love the art and I love the packaging, and just I love getting a record for the first time and opening it up and like reading the liner notes and seeing all the cool stuff. But realistically, I probably also listen to Spotify more just from convenience. Like I'll listen in the car, I'll listen at work, I'll listen when I'm exercising. But definitely preferred method would be vinyl, or live. I guess I don't know if that's a
Yeah.
cop out,
Oh
but like
no,
I
no.
love live music, and I try to soak up as much of that as I possibly can.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. I definitely love vinyl. I mean, that's for me the. I was so happy that I saved all the vinyl that I bought when I was a kid, you know, and because for a while it was gone. I mean, you guys are younger.
Yeah,
You
right.
probably don't remember when, like, because I went from the transition of it was, vinyl and cassettes, actually 8 tracks for a little bit, and then, CDs. And then so a lot of people, they like sold all their CDs or sold all their albums and bought CDs. I just went and bought all the CDs that to match the albums I already had. Because
Yeah.
I didn't have a huge collection, but uh, and then now it's come back, and as soon as I got like I still have the turntable I had when I was 16, so
Oh my gosh.
I got this Pioneer like direct drive turntable that I still have, and I kept
That's
it.
awesome.
And finally, when I got like an AV receiver that when they started putting phono back in, I was like, oh, I can break it back out, and that led to this like flood. And I've been still. My wife Brenda's like, oh my God, are you buying another album? What the hell?
It doesn't stop.
No, no, it doesn't. It's just like I just got the new Mazinga album. If you guys like punk and you want a really cool album, Mazinga. The artwork's fantastic. They got this little booklet. They even put some of my photos in it. Uh,
Oh my gosh.
some live photos. They got some of those in there. So I was like, oh, yeah,
Check that out.
yeah, it's awesome.
I got to ask you, Chuck. When you first invited us onto this, I stalked your Instagram. Were you listening to Roxy music the other day?
I
Siren?
was, yeah, hell yeah, I love
That's a
that.
great record.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I bought it just because I'd not really listened to a whole bunch of Roxy music. I mean, I'd heard "Love Is the Drug," obviously, but I love "Both Ends Burning." I mean, just that song is so good. And then I got the album. I was like, "Holy shit! This whole album is awesome!" You know? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've
I
got
love them. I don't think they put out a bad album.
no. Um, in fact, I got it led me down the rabbit hole as far as like because that's kind of the beauty of Spotify. You can kind of go, oh, I like this. I bought this album. What are these other things? Um, and yeah, so that's definitely something I want to check out. Oh, and I just got this today or the other day. Have you guys ever heard of a band called Tides?
I
Uh,
I
haven't.
feel like that name is
Well,
familiar.
yeah, they were like in the early 2000s, I guess, sort of like instrumental, like
oh,
uh, I guess neurosis like uh,
what?
metal stuff.
That
Yeah,
sounds cool.
it's really
Neurosis without Scott Kelly.
it's really cool. Okay, so I got this from the band. It was like, all right. I mean, they're gone. The band's defunct, but they still selling their crap. But it's CDs though, so it's kind of a bummer. But anyway.
Giving me some stuff to check
That's
out,
sweet.
Chuck. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'll
Hey.
check out Tides.
All right, cool. So, what else was I going to ask you? Oh, uh, Jessica, you mentioned you are a photographer in Grand Rapids.
Yes, sir.
All right, and what kind of photography do you do?
I do anything from weddings to seniors, anniversary, um, some like more corporate-ish things. It's just kind of all over, but I love people, so I love to do portraits.
Awesome.
As well as like really working with like any creative people, whether that be like artists, musicians, bands, all of it.
Have you ever shot like concerts and I'm gonna guess you've done band promo pictures, right?
Yes, yes, I have. I don't do those as much anymore, because to be honest, live shows it can stress me out sometimes, and I was working really it was I was working really late hours, and you know how late bands like will
Yeah.
go on, and then it's always like half an hour later than that. So
Yeah.
I was working some really late hours doing those, but I liked that it was definitely an interesting job, fun and creative. So
Cool. Awesome. Well, the reason I was asking that is because I also do this nonprofit. Well, we turned it into a nonprofit because it's just easier to try to raise money. But it's called GIG, the Art of Michigan Music, and it's an art show that I do once a year. I did the very first one last year in Jackson. We're doing another one in Jackson, but it's for the artists, the visual artists in music. So the graphic artists that create posters, the photographers that do band photos and concert photography. So if you're interested, I thought I'd throw it out there
that's
for you.
awesome. Yeah, I would love to hear more about that.
Cool. Awesome.
Thanks
Well,
for
I got to cut in real quick here
yeah.
too. I don't think I've clarified. In addition to being my sister, Jessica has done all of our band photos, concert photos, and album artwork.
Oh, really? Awesome.
Yes.
it
Jessica
was
took the photos for this record and the previous one, and then her partner, fiance, Ty Davis, did the design.
Oh, very cool. So
Mhm.
yeah, I always love finding out. Yeah, I mean, that's what gigs all about is like raising awareness about those folks, right? Because they're key. I mean, the music's part of the package, and the visual aspects that to me as are equally important, right? Bands love to have some photos they can share for, here's what we look like live and or, posed in this cool thing with our green jumpers or whatever, but
Yep.
yeah, so cool. Awesome. Well, Jake and Jessica and Jeremy, I want to thank you guys so much for being on Fans of Bands. I've got one last question for you. Jeremy knows what this is. Jake, Jessica, what is your yeah, I was gonna go into a different question. Pineapple or no pineapple on pizza?
Oh, I could go either way. I'm not offended by it, is the point that I'm making.
But
Yeah, I'm not offended by it. I like green olives, and I know that's a big no for a lot of people, so I respect the pineapple people.
Yeah, I don't order it, but I'm not gonna say no to it either. Pizza's pizza when it comes down to it.
that's true. I mean, pizza is pizza, and like, yeah, if someone's gonna put that there, it's totally fine.
What do you
Uh,
prefer?
me, I, I think I like pineapple as pineapple, and I'm not a sweet and savory person at all. And if you had like a fruit pizza, or was just like some, pineapples, maybe put like some, I don't know, strawberries or whatever, that would be cool. But when you start mixing it with like ham and everything, I'm like, oh, what? Somebody's ruined something here. Somebody has crossed the line. But,
Just
I get it. People love it, so it's fine.
commit to a flavor preference. Don't try to be two things at the same time.
Yeah,
I know
exactly.
everyone's trying to be the world for everyone, and that's the issue.
You
Um,
can't
w-
make everybody happy.
That's true. And Jeremy, I'm trying to remember, were you a
I
pineapple
was
person?
I was adamantly pro pineapple
All
person.
right.
I'm here for it. I'm here for the sweet and savory, but I understand where everybody's coming from, and I'm open to whatever pizza preferences anybody has.
Yeah. Well, like you said, Jake, I mean, it's pizza. You can't go wrong, right? It's got to be good.
exactly, exactly. Well, what do you order when you order pizza? What are like your three toppings, Chuck?
Oh, um, it's typically like a sort of like either a supreme. So I would probably go with bacon, banana peppers, and maybe like black olives. Uh,
Banana peppers are so good.
That
yeah,
sounds like an
Absolutely.
amazing pizza. That
yeah,
sounds so good.
yeah. If I had three toppings, that's what I would do. But if I had five, I would load up. Like, so I'd throw in ham and onion. Yeah, there you go.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah.
In full
That's a good
transparency,
sounding
I'm probably
pizza.
gonna have pizza for dinner after I get off here. I was thinking about it earlier on my drive home from work, and I was like, man, I'm not gonna go for quality. I'm going for the hot and ready, but I live
Uh,
pretty close to a Little Caesars, so I think I might
awesome,
go swoop out and snag one of those to eat after I get off here.
awesome. That
Dude,
sounds good.
I don't Little Caesars shame people. I'm not about that. Little
I
Caesars is fine.
I'm not only do I not shame, but I'm an advocate for Little Caesars. I will stand by Little Caesars. You probably don't have it up there, do you, Jake? Does it extend that
Oh,
far?
that's a good question. If we do have one, I don't know about it, but I also haven't looked.
Yeah,
So
that's fair. You have better taste in food than I do. But
Well, I got to give a shout out for for awesome pizza like around here in Michigan. Clavon's. Have you ever been to Clavon's in Jackson?
no, I bet Paul has.
Holy shit!
I'll check it out.
Really good. And there's another one called Cascarelli's. That one's over in Albion. And then the last one I'm going to throw out there, if you're up in Ishpeming, Marquette area, you got to go to Congress Pizza. Congress Pizza, it's the more the
Oh my
flat,
gosh.
like it's super flat pizza, flat crust,
Like
but
thin?
not super crunchy. Yeah, thin.
Okay. Man,
But oh man, yeah. So
We have
you're
quarantine. What's it inspired by again?
Detroit.
Detroit style pizza, but isn't it inspired by a band?
Oh, they have like Ramones themed merchandise.
cool.
oh,
Ramon themed. That's
what's the name of the
Quarantinos, and it came up like during like quarantine, so that's it's Detroit style, best pizza ever. If you're in Grand Rapids, you gotta have it.
All right, awesome. Quarantinos. Fantastic. Yeah, that's going to have to be a thing now. I'm going to have to also ask that question and then get recommendations. Because then, when I'm traveling around the state, boom, let's go get Quarantinos. Oh, man, it's going to be good. Well, guys, thank you again so much for being on Fans of Bands. I really appreciate it.
yeah, thank you for
Okay.
having us. This has been really fun.
Awesome.
Nice seeing all of you.
Yeah, it's great to see you guys.
Yeah, nice seeing you guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Many thanks to Jake from Moon Orchids, along with fans Jessica and Jeremey, for joining me on this episode of Fans of Bands. It was great to talk with Jake about the new self-titled Moon Orchids album and their music, which blends rock and Americana in the vein of the brilliant Neil Young and Crazy Horse. This thoughtful and well-written album is out on Bandcamp, so you should go get your copy today. See the show notes for all the details and links. Bands are nothing without you, the fans. Purchasing music and merchandise is critical to their survival. If you can help out your favorite bands, please do. If you're in Michigan, consider following the Playing in Detroit Area Tonight and SE for Southeast Michigan Music Facebook pages. They are fantastic places for fans and bands to support each other and share our combined love of music. Thank you all so much for listening. Be sure to hit subscribe on your favorite podcast service to get each and every episode of Fans with Bands. Spread the word by rating the show, telling your friends, telling your neighbors, telling your family, telling your priest, tell everyone, and leave a comment. We want to hear what you think. You can keep in touch by following us on social media. This is a Life in Michigan production. Until next time, be well and kick out the jam.